Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Celeste and I make videos revolving around vegan and cruelty-free makeup tutorials and reviews. And today I show you how to do the trending alt girl makeup look. So this is going to be more cutesy, less dark than the regular alternative girl makeup style. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Before going in with any makeup at all, you want to make sure that your skin is properly prepped depending on your skin type. Since my skin type is dry, I like to go in with a hydrating serum all over the face as well as a toner, and I'm going to follow that up with a hydrating primer. So now that we're letting all the primers settle into our skin, we're going to go ahead and start in the eyes. So I'm going to take a eyeshadow primer. Sometimes going in concealer with concealer is alright. I wouldn't use too much, as that can cause the base underneath to crease. Because I don't want the color to be too pigmented, I'm okay with going in with a clear primer. And you just want to grab a bit and go all over the eyes with it. Look, I'm going to dip into a bright pink shade, and I'm dipping into my Inked Doll Cosmetics palette, but any kind of bright pink shade will work. I'm also grabbing a large fluffy brush for this process, just to fluff it all over the lid. More condensed pigmentation on my lid, I'm going in with a more flat shader brush, and I'm just dipping into another pink shade from the Jeffree Star Morphe palette. Again, you don't have to use this exact palette, just using a deeper pink shade all over the lid will work just as well. Now that we have the color sufficiently all over the lid, I want to blend this color out. And I'm just taking a more peachy shade from the same palette, and I'm going to blend right over the edges of the shadow. At this point, you don't have to worry about any kind of fallout on the base. This is particularly why I like to do my face makeup or my eye makeup first, because any kind of fallout that does get on the face you can wipe away with a primer. You have that pink shadow blended out to how you want it. You're going to want to go all over the lid with a pink glitter. I'm just jumping in right into the Inked Doll Cosmetics glitter that I have here. And also on the lid, you're going to want to use a kind of glue. I'm just going to take my finger and a bit of lash glue and pat it all over the lid. I'm just taking that same finger into the glitter and pressing it onto my lid. Now that I'm done with my upper lid, I'm going to go ahead and jump into my foundation. If you just want to skip to the part where I finish the rest of the eyeshadow tutorial, just skip to this part, but I'm just gonna jump into foundation now. So I like to take a more warm toned foundation and start where I have darker pigmentation before going into my main foundation. I don't want to go too heavy-handedly underneath my eyes, because that can cause a lot of creasing. So you want to make sure you're going in with a really light hand underneath your eyes. Now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead with my foundation. I don't like to take too much. The reason I like to go in with a more yellow toned foundation on my darker pigmented areas is because if I were to go in with just foundation, I would need a little more product to cover it up. But the color correction helps with canceling those areas without using too much product. Now I did make sure not to put any foundation here underneath my eyes. So now I'm going to take a lighter concealer and just putting the tiniest bit in both the inner and the outer corner of my eye. I'm going to take a small brush and I'm just going to press in those areas until I'm happy with how it looks. And see how easy it is just to clean up the edges of the eyeshadow with that concealer. Doing the eyeshadow first just makes it really easy to clean things up afterwards. At this point, I like to add a little lash glue to my lashes while I'm doing other steps to let them get tacky so I can apply them later on. And I'm going to jump into eyebrows. So I'm just taking my eyebrow pencil and running it the front. And I like to elongate my brow tail just a bit. Then to make it a little more natural, I like to take an eyebrow brush or a spoolie and just bring it throughout my brows. At this point, I do like to clean up my brows, but I don't like going in with too light of a concealer. So I just grab one that's very close to my skin tone. And I just like to go right underneath the brow. At this point, I like to use a small blending brush and just blend out that concealer. This also helps with cleaning up the eyeshadow look by diffusing it a little more and not having it as close to the eyebrow. Your lashes should be tacky enough to apply. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. For the lower lash line, I'm going to go ahead and dip into that pink shade. And we're just going to go ahead and run that as close to the lower lash line as possible. At this point, I like to grab a more fluffy smudging brush. And I'm just going into that other pink that I was using from the Jeffree Star Morphe palette. And again, you can use any kind of bright pink. And I'm just going to smudge that pink along the lower lash line. One thing I do like to do to make the look a little more put together is connecting the lower lash line to the upper lash line. So it just makes that nice point. So at this stage, I'm going to go ahead and get into bronzing up the face. So I'm just taking that bronzer up into the forehead and just all around the perimeter of the face. The way that you use bronzer or contour really depends on your face shape. Since I do have a more round face and I just like my forehead to appear a bit more small, I'm just taking that bronzer and making a shadow on my forehead. I do the same thing for my cheekbones. I'm also just using a more precise powder brush for this step. Okay, so the next step I think is the most important step of the tutorial, and I really think that this is what brings it together, and that's just a lot of blush. Just an obscene amount of blush. So we're gonna start here at the corner, and I like to start kind of connecting our eyeshadow. And I know it seems crazy now, but it really brings it together. And you kind of just want to blend into the very corner of the eyeshadow, which is the top of the cheekbone. Just really want to blend it, and you really can't go wrong with how much blush you're using. And I'm also going to go ahead and contour my nose. So I'm just taking a more flat brush like this, and so that it seems more blended, I'm just kind of going to press it against the bridge of my nose, and I'm just going to flick upwards. I'm even going to blend it up into my brow bone. I'm even going to dip into some pink and add that to the nose contour. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bit of my pressed powder, and you could use a loose powder if you want, but I'm just using a pressed powder because it's what I have in front of me. So I'm just going to go ahead and press that right against the contour. And now I'm dipping into a more pinky shade of highlighter, and you can really use even an eyeshadow for this step. I would just suggest a light hand. And if you really want your highlight to look a little more metallic, I would suggest spraying it with a setting spray or mist. And I like to just highlight the tip of my nose and alongside the bridge. I even like to highlight my nostrils. And as you noticed, I went ahead and highlighted my nose with a more smaller detail brush. With the face, I'm going in with a longer haired, fluffier, larger brush. And I'm just going into that same shade, pinky highlight, and I am spraying it to make sure it's really intense. And again, I'm just seeing where the light touches my face, and I'm just adding highlight to that placement. And I'm just going to start blushing out the ball of my nose and right here next to my nostrils. Again, not taking it too far down. And I'm gonna go ahead and dip into the more pigmented pink, and I'm just going to add it to the same places I added the peachy pink. So now I'm going to go ahead and line my lips. I am using a lip liner that is very close to the shade of my lips. Now I'm going in with a very bright pink, the same areas that I added my lip line. And now what I'm going to do for the very center is take a pink gloss, and I'm just going to run that all along the center. Now for the finishing touch, I'm just going to add a bit of black eyeliner. I'm going to take a bit of mascara just in the bottom lashes. I'm taking a very bright shimmer shade, and it's a pink shimmer shade, and I'm spraying that with a bit of setting spray. And I'm just going right into the inner corner. I'm even taking it a bit on the lower lash line. And I really want to make sure that we have enough blush, so I'm going in again with more. I'm even dipping into a little bit of eyeshadow, and I'm just really packing it on. And that is the finished look. I'm gonna go ahead and do my hair, and I'll come back and so I can show you guys how it looks all together. Is the finished makeup look. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. It was super fun to film, and something that is totally up my alley. Pink, cute I really think you guys will enjoy doing this no matter what stage of makeup you are. Just give it a try. Maybe it's something out of your comfort zone you want to try and like get dolled up. Doing accessories and hair is super fun with it as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I do post new videos every single Saturday, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!